You're welcome back. Well, the plan to establish an international financial center at the Atlantic City by the second quarter of next year with intended benefits that include serving investors who seek to invest in critical sectors of the economy is attractive. But how can this proposed international financial center be maximally utilized for its full effect on the economy? We have the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Timeline Consults Limited, Mr. Shuaibu Idris, joining us now to talk about this and a whole lot more. Good morning, Mr. Shuaibu. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Inia. Good morning, viewers. Thanks for having me.
So I know you've heard about the proposed International Financial Center, which is supposed to serve as a hub to attract domestic and external capital. Now, from your perspective, how do you see this working? What do you see? Paint a picture for us.
Well, let me start by correcting you. It is not supposed to serve as a mechanism to attract capital. The proposed International Financial Center in Lagos is supposed to be a melting point where ideas, issues as well as bonds and other, products that we trade in the market are going to be traded. The idea being bandied by the central bank is, if you may like, is basically to codify and to further strengthen what we already have. Lagos, as at today, is a financial center, whether we like it or not. If you start by defining what is a financial center basically is a community, a society where financial products are being bought and sold, and in a narrow-minded way is a center where products are being traded. Today, we have African Finance Corporation residing in Lagos, Nigeria. African countries, companies from quite a number of African countries are coming here to get, financial instrument being extended to them. Isn't that a center? So Lagos technically is already a center. What the central bank is trying to do is possibly to further espouse it. And I believe sincerely that it is a step in the right direction. We have the capacity, we have the technology, we have the people. However, there are still a number of issues that needs to be, looked at carefully before we achieve, the intended goals of the central bank.
Exactly, because, like you have mentioned, Lagos is the commercial capital of the country. Yes. We have a lot of centers. We have a lot of institutions. We have a lot of buildings, where you have financial institutions, financial transactions, commercial activities, going on. So one would wonder, is this just going to be a building that is standing on its own? What's going to be different about this? Because you'll still be working with the Nigerian system and still face the challenges, that exist in the country's commercial and economic space. So,
Well, it's, like I said, it's not just going to be a building. Lagos has been the melting pot of the African economy, whether we like it or not. Even before Nigeria became #1 in terms of the size of our economy, there is a new city being built in Lagos called Atlantic City. Yes. And there is a bit of a traffic of, if you like, the high net worth individuals, the mega rich, and the corporations establishing offices there. Only on Saturday, Sunday, I had a guest from the north. The person came and we went around Atlantic City with a view to looking at opportunities where to, to buy, properties. So it is just going to be a hub, a market where professionals will go in, trade in financial instrument. And I believe the central bank is looking at the situation of Casablanca today in Morocco, which is the best African financial center as at today. So the central bank is looking at, let's benchmark Casablanca. Let's be sure that we can even do better than Casablanca. Like you did say, Ini, we have quite a number of challenges. Insecurity is an issue. Our institutions that will checkmate, quote unquote, rascality in trading are still not as strong as they should be. Our currency is somewhere around number 15, 20 in terms of its strength in the financial system. It's not convertible. Even within the West African sub-region, we still have, that challenge. But I think, notwithstanding these challenges, I believe the fact that the central bank could dream this, then it can be done.
Shouldn't we be thinking of solving these problems? Because if not, then we'll still have a financial center, but may not be as impactful as we intended it to be, because these challenges will still curb the growth and the people, especially the international. I mean, we are talking about, for instance, in the aviation sector, because of repatriation of funds, foreign airlines may not be selling tickets to Nigeria. So these are challenges that it's not about, fine, the attractiveness of the idea, but in reality, how are we going to maximize this?
No, Ini, I beg to disagree. You see, a farmer will ordinarily, in the dry season, begin to prefer his or her farm ahead of the rainy season. The fact that we have these challenges, it does not necessarily mean we should just wait until we address these challenges. These challenges are part of life, and they will continue to be with us. Insecurity 15, 20 years ago, the level of insecurity that we have today isn't there. Are we saying that tomorrow, day after, we will not solve this? Certainly no. For want of a better example, the city of New York, the best and the first international financial center, have had these issues that Nigeria has today. And yet, the financial center business is still there. If there are issues that we need to possibly immediately address, maybe fundamentally 2 or 3, the issue of the product to be traded. We're still only trading shares, stocks. We need to have options and other exotic financial instrument. We need to have a commodity exchange where, for example, we would love to see our cocoa, our sesame seed, our cashew nuts, our crude oil being traded in a market that is domiciled in Nigeria. Yes, Naira may not necessarily be convertible soon, but the fact that Nigeria is a signatory in the Afcft, that is African Continental Free Trade Agreement, we are on a threshold of possibly, getting into a free trade zone in Africa, and possibly to even have a single currency, first within the ECOWAS zone, then to the continental African, as an entire community. So these are, stages that we will follow, and I believe getting the International Financial Center in place is a step in the right direction.
You mentioned the issue of a single currency, of maximizing the markets around us and all that, and Afcft simply comes to mind. What are we doing with that?
Well,
because that's another example of having a beautiful idea, having it all set out, but when it comes to let's implement it, let's do it, and then we just have the name.
Well, like I did say, it is always better to have to dream it, and maybe not immediately, we may not be able to actualize it, but even without the establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, the ECOWAS sub-region, the major benefactor as far as ECOWAS sub-region is concerned is Nigeria. If you go to Cotonou, just drive across the Badagry border, you go to Cotonou, what do you buy in the markets? You go to Ghana, you go to as far as Freetown, or even Liberia, Monrovia, you will see quite significantly product from Nigeria. Glory be to God. Today we have a Dangote, we have other companies that are producing products that are right now more or less replicate in most of these African countries. I believe whether there is a formal implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement or not, there is that symbiotic relationship among us Africans.
The symbiotic relationship that also causes smuggling into
Well,
Nigeria.
now you are bringing another, you know, if you like.
I'm just bringing that up to say that if we have these policies and we follow them up, you know, with the right institution, like you noted even at the beginning of our conversation, then it will curb some of these challenges, and then we'll be able to maximize the benefits, you know, which these policies and ideas are supposed to bring to the country.
Yes, the issues are, if we implement the African Continental Free Trade Agreement to the letter, there wouldn't be smuggling anymore, because it's a free trade zone.
Okay.
The major challenge of our inability to implement African Continental Free Trade Agreement to the letter and like yesterday, to my mind, are two: logistics and supply chain, the absence of road network, rail network that connects African countries so that goods and services can move freely, and the issue of currency compatibility.
Yeah.
Once these two issues are sorted out, I believe we will be able to have a fairly decent implementation of the African Continental Free Trade.
Okay, all right. Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Shoaib Idris, the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Timeline Consult Limited, for sharing your thoughts with us. And we do hope that with time, these challenges that we talk about would have been dealt with, and then we can maximize both the Afcft and, you know, the international financial
Thank you
sector.
very much for having me.
All right.
Thank you.